Alright guys, this is the Voswitch JL300. It is the Voswitch setup that is made for Jeep Wrangler or Jeep Gladiator, JL or JT. It comes in a really nice box. It's packed very well. Now I already did take the instructions out so I could read them, so they aren't in here, but they were laying right on top. It's got some 3M double-sided tape, some zip ties, a fusible link, crimp-on connectors for hooking up the wires to the circuit, a bolt in there to help mount it. This is the actual switch panel, I think. So it's going to go inside in the dash. These 3M things, I think, are probably our stickers to go over them with the labels on them, so we can label them up for whatever we want. This has got a nice feel to it. It feels pretty good, looks pretty solid. I think it's going to look good in the Jeep, hope so. This is a cubby for the non-Rubicons. We won't be using this, but it goes on the other side, basically like this in the dash to fit, because I guess in the non-Rubicons that don't have the aux switch, they just have a big cubby in the bottom, so this kind of divides that up. We aren't going to be using that at all. This is the meat and potatoes of what's in the box. This is the Voswitch, so this is it. We're going to move the box out of the way. And it's pretty heavy. It seems to be pretty well made. It's got, I think that's some double-sided tape over there, or rubber kind of pad, I guess, so it won't rub. And good heavy metal bracket. There's a hole here for your wires to come through. And these are like a marine grade plug. You kind of take out and put your wire through and then tighten back down so it's watertight. That's a really nice feature that some of the other solutions did not have. In fact, none of the other solutions really had that. And I think you just kind of hand tighten that. This is your power. It's got your fusible link in it. There is an extra one in the package. It's in a braided cover, so it won't chafe or abrade. So that's pretty nice. This is your data cable. And this is your ground and the accessory switch wire that we're going to need to use. So we're going to use all of that. When you open this up, you got your relays inside that are all positioned with fuses in between. They're all 30 amp fuses. You got a couple of dip switches over here. We'll show you in a second because those come into play according to the instructions for the accessory switch. And overall, it's pretty well made. It's got a gasket. I don't know if you can really see that, but it's got a gasket all the way around. So this seals and kind of clips on to the box when it's mounted and keeps the water out. So it's seems to be pretty robust, pretty well made. I'm happy with the purchase for 250 bucks. It's probably better made than it should be, but pretty good product. So we're gonna go ahead and start getting that installed now and kind of show you how we do that. Okay, so what you can see here is we've got the Voswitch. It's gonna go right here on this fender, and it's gonna mount kind of like so. So there's a bolt. Bolt here and a threaded hole here for this bolt. So that's what we got to do. We got to take one bolt out and put one bolt in extra. It comes with that bolt, so that's pretty nice. So we're just gonna take this guy out. These are supposed to be 10 millimeters. It is, but man, does it fit tight. Gets the paint on there. Then we're gonna take our Voswitch. Kind of mount it. The wires and stuff getting in the way. It clears the AC line here pretty good. You can still get to the socket for the AC line, but it's a little snug. And we're going to put that guy in there, and then we're just going to tighten these up with these split. If only it was this easy to install the whole thing, but we still got some things to do that are going to be a little tricky. So that thing's solid once it's on. I don't see it. It does kind of sit right on top of the ABS lines, but that's what the rubber insulator's for. so it's going to sit on them, but I don't think it's going to really cause any problems. So I'm going to go ahead and start routing some of these wires roughly. Now this is the power, and let me see how the best way to do that. I think, honestly, just looks like it should route through there somehow, but there it goes. Yeah, and then just go under the switch. That's going to be a little tricky, but I think we can pull it through. So let's try. We're going to just try to pull that through. Yep, it's going to go until we get to the fuse link, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. We can get it, I think. There's room. We'll see. Yeah, it's going to go really far. There it goes. Okay, so that goes like that, and we're going to route this with our other harness that we previously made, and that's going to go over to the other side. And then we've got, from our wiring harness here, for our lights, we've got some excess, but it's going to ultimately come up through like this, and we route it something like that. Once we get it all tied up, it's gonna kind of go like this. So this is all gonna run together. We're gonna just run that together like so. This will come up here. We'll cut this to length, and it'll go in the box on a circuit. Now, for these two wires, really, I would like to be able to put them in some kind of conduit. What do we have that would work? I really don't want to just run that bare through the engine bay if we don't have to. Let me see what I got. I think I got something that'll do the job. Alright guys, so we're going to have to try to get the wire for the data control system to the Voswitch. Basically the wire that runs through the firewall into the dash, routed through the firewall, and that's going to be kind of tricky to do. So I'm going to try to show you that. I'm going to try to show you what we're doing here, what we're talking about. It is kind of dark in here, so it's going to be kind of hard to see, so just bear with me, okay? Let me get a light and we'll get this done. So basically, I think there's supposed to be a rubber grommet somewhere in the firewall that you can get to pretty easily, but I don't see it. I don't really know what they're talking about. So we're gonna go look under the hood, see if we can see it over there. So it's supposed to be that one right there, but I don't know how you get to that on the inside. I've seen people do it, but I don't know where it comes in at. So another option is to do what the instructions actually say. I don't know if you can see that down there or not. It's kind of tricky to see. So you can see that hole down there in the firewall. That grommet just popped out, and I was able to basically cut a hole through it for the cable to go through, and we're going to put it back in. So let me show you what we got over here. This is our grommet with a hole in it, and we're going to just kind of make a cover of electrical tape on both sides of this that should hold and keep it pretty waterproof. Electrical tape sticks pretty well. This is plastic. You might be able to seal that in with some RTV or something, but I'm afraid acetic acid in the RTV may damage the cable, which is the whole point of taking this grommet out and doing this work. So we're going to do that and get it put back in, and then I'll show you what we get next. There we go. Wow, that does not like coming off of there. So I'm going to try to unplug all of this. and get that piece out. So that's out of the way. That's our climate controls and engine start button. There is about an 8mm little hex head here that's got to come out. We're going to go ahead and get that. So this is a 7mm, not an 8. My mistake. I'm going to take that out, drop in with the trim tool, and then we're going to get the trim tool and we got to pop this guy out. And he just kind of supposedly pops out like so. So the whole thing is supposed to kind of pop out, and then we can get my gate opener out because we don't need that there. And I think we can kind of maybe, yeah, maneuver this guy so maybe we don't have to take out the whole panel here. I don't know if you can see, but there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 really small little nuts there that are going to be 6. Nope. Something's going to fit these. That fits. It's a 7/32. That's what actually fits. So I'm using dome lights here for light, guys. Sorry they keep going out, but it's kind of expedient. Camera setup back there. I don't have a fancy light or anything. So we're just gonna put these in here because we're gonna put them right back in. And we'll get our Voswitch and wire it in, and we gotta route the rest of this data cable. However, we're gonna do that. Figure out what we're gonna do with it, and then button it back up. We should be ready to get power to it. So pretty easy, not horrible install. Just okay. So what you can see here is I've removed all of the 7/32 bolts. And this piece just comes out. That's our little cubby. Had a little rubber thing in it. That's gone. We aren't going to be reusing that. So we're going to get the Voswitch. And it's going to go back in place where that was. And it's supposed to just fit like so. And it looks like it does. It looks like it fits like a glove. We're going to put these little 4 little bolts back in, and we'll see what the end up finished product looks like. Pretty slick. So of note, the Voswitch only uses 3 of the 4 7/32. The other one looks like it holds in the factory stuff for the sway bar disconnect and the walkers, etc. That's okay. I don't think the Voswitch needs any more than that. It's pretty simple. So we're just going to tighten these up real quick, get it all buttoned in. And these are just, you know, hand tight. They don't got to be torqued down or anything. You're just going into plastic, so you don't want to put them too tight and strip them. Just be kind of mindful of that when you're doing it. Yeah, you can get them all in, and that should about do it. So, how's that look? That looks like it came that way from the factory, is how that looks. That's solid, feels solid in there, feels every bit as solid as that does. I guess it's got a little give to it, but it's overall really good. It's fine. So, the only thing we've got left to do now is figure out how to route this cable, and there's a lot of it. So we're going to route that up in so it can come in and hook to this data cable here, like so. These hook together, and once we get that done, we'll be able to button this thing up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you guys when I'm done. Okay, so what we're going to do here is get out fuse F52, which is this little 20 amp fuse right here. And then there's an ATA circuit we're going to get. Alright, so the ATA circuit is this little wire thing. I'm sure a lot of people have seen those, but it's got a 5 amp fuse in it, and then underneath it you put your 20 amp fuse and just pop it in, and then the whole thing is designed to slide back into the slot, and then you've got a wire that will come out of your fuse block and go this direction, and we're going to splice our accessory lead wire into that butt connector, and then we'll be done. So that's all that we needed to get in there for, so that's done. That's nice. So we'll put up our fuse removal tool. I'm going to leave this over here for now, and we're going to get our splicer and I'm going to put a little piece of red heat shrink on there, so when I get this butt connector done, we can kind of try to get it all heat shrunk together so it looks nice. So we're going to cut this thing right about here. We're going to strip it. Okay, so we're in the Jeep. I've got the accessory power on. We've set the system up such that it is tied to the accessory. That's why we did the ADA circuit onto the 12-volt lighter circuit. So the system will only come on when the start button is in the accessory or run position. To power up the entire system, you hit this power button. Then it lights up all the lights. They're all white and match the color of the dash lights. However, they don't bright or dim down here. That's okay because the buttons are covered and only give out a little bit of light, so it's kind of a soft glow. So if we hit one and turn that on, you can hear the relay go on and off. I don't know if you can hear that on the camera or not, but it is. You can hear the relay cycling. And you'll note when the power to something is on and the relay is closed, the light is amber. So we can turn these on. If they're all on, everything's amber, and they're all fused and relayed. So really nice system overall. Looks really good. I really quite like it. So there's only one thing left to do, and that's to finish kind of buttoning up everything. And then I'm going to take you under the hood. We're going to just show you the finished product, and then kind of test it with the lights connected. I just kind of plugged them up, and we'll see how this goes. Okay guys, so we're done and everything's kind of buttoned up. So we're going to start over here on the driver's side. This is the Voswitch. We've talked about that a little bit, but I can get you a little bit closer now so you can kind of see it. It does have latches on both sides. It does have waterproof connectors, which are really nice. And they do tighten, they hold the wire really well. As you can see, we've put a wire sheath on the wires going into it. The only one that doesn't is this data cable, just because I didn't have a wire sheath big enough. But the power cable coming out of it right here does have a sheath that you can see right here. I don't know if hopefully you can make that out. But it is sheathed, and then our other wiring in here is all in flex conduit with our wire harness that we made for our lights. For details of that, I want you guys to watch part 2 where I make this wiring harness so you can kind of see how that's done. As we move across the firewall, we've got this all kind of buttoned up. That's our fuse block there for the Voswitch. It does have a replaceable fusible link in it that you can see. It does have an inspection window, so you can kind of see the inspection window if we ever have problems with it, we can obviously check that. So that's nice and secured right now. Out of that comes the power going right into the positive terminal of the battery. And then we've got our accessory switch coming out of our wire sheath here that goes down into the fuse box, and we added the fuse inside. Moving around, we've still got our wiring harness for the lighting, and as well as our Voswitch coming around. It stops here, so our grounding wire comes out. Ground is to the battery for both the lighting and the Voswitch. Everything is secured and routed nicely and seems to work. We've kind of showed you how things work on the inside, so now I think without further ado we're going to button the hood up and kind of make sure that these lights work. So give me a second and we'll get back to you guys and show you that. So that about finishes it up for the Voswitch install. It was an easy install except for getting the data cable through the firewall. We had to take out that grommet that I showed previously. That was kind of difficult to get through there and get routed, but we did get it buttoned up eventually. The Voswitch works great, it looks great, it looks like a factory option. It looks like the way the Jeep should have come from the factory. It does offer you 6 switches instead of 4 like the factory system does. I think it's every bit as robust as the factory system. There are other systems out there to include the Mopar system. You can buy that for about $450. There's the Switch Pros, 6 switch and 8 switch switches that are more expensive, as well as the S-Pods switch. Now the S-Pods and the Switch Pros do provide some added connectivity with Bluetooth connectivity and an app to control the switch and program functions. If all you really want is a simple on-off switch that does have some rudimentary programmable functions, the Voswitch is the best option in my opinion, and that's really all I needed. Finally, we got the lights installed just to have something to test with it. In part 2, we're going to go into why we chose those lights and how they work with the entire lighting system that we put on the front of the Jeep. So please come back and watch that, like and subscribe, and click the notification bell so you'll know when that second episode drops. And that's going to close us out for today. So I'm Landon, this is Order the Traveling Hats, and we hope to see you out there.